Hello everyone, it's Tonya with ScribblesInTime. I'm going to do a flip through today of the most current of the small / medium photo antique photo albums that I've created the junk journals out of. So I've been working all day finishing these up, getting them posted on my Etsy. I did realize very quickly that trying to do this, through email and PayPal, it was very, very chaotic. I was getting a lot of messages through Etsy, and I didn't feel right responding on Etsy for items that weren't posted on Etsy. And then I was getting emails. It's been a whole situation with that. So I think I now can recognize that Etsy is the easiest and most suitable way of posting the photo albums. So these will all be listed in my Etsy by the time these videos upload, or the ones that are still available will be listed in my Etsy by the time this video uploads. So I'm going to divide this video up into two videos, and on the first video I'm going to go over there's 5 total that I'm going to be showing in the next 2 videos, and then 3 kits. So I will put timestamps below each video with the minute and second that I start the flip through on each of these. I will move fairly quickly because they're so similar, and I try to include so many of the unique items that I had in some kits, and as of right now I only have 3 kits. I'm going back and forth on doing some kits without photo album covers in them, but anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at, kind of a summary of what I'm fixing to be doing. And so we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to start first with the thickest of them all, and that's going to be the one that I have titled Album. And I mentioned in my previous video that I'm kind of just going with names that coordinate either with the actual photo album, like this one says Album on it, so I've named this one Album. And I did Album with a soft spine. Now, I mentioned in the previous video, I did do somewhat of a tutorial. It's more of a talking process of how I created, most of the journals, how I had to, drill holes because they have wood, and, just, it's a very loosely constructed. I don't even like to call it a tutorial because it's more of just me kind of talking through ideas and options of what I was trying to accomplish with mine. But for anyone who purchases the kits, I think what I'm going to do, because I don't want to really post that on my YouTube channel as tutorials, because it's not. It's just me kind of talking about what my thought process was and ideas that I used on how to reconstruct and do what I was calling plastic surgery on these photo albums. So I think instead of posting those on my actual YouTube channel, what I'll do is just anyone who purchases the kits, if they would like, I can send them the link. I'm gonna go ahead and post the videos as private, and then I will send anyone who purchases a kit the link. We can call that a bonus, but again, that's very, very overstated. But so let's start with Album. Album is, and I do put the measurements and details on the Etsy listing, so I'm not going to go into, I'll hold the ruler up so that you can kind of get an idea of size and comparison in inches. There is overhang, so it's very hard to accurately measure. So as I was already explaining to you, Album is the thickest, fullest one out of all of the small ones that I've done. And I went overboard on Album, and I was able to do that because I did Album with a soft spine. I did the others all with a hard hidden signatures, but a hard spine. Album has a soft spine. You'll see that the spine is very flexible. It's actually hollow. You could, slide a pencil or pen in there and kind of hook it there. I did use real leather. I did fold the leather and create a edge there, and then I covered it with some, cotton kind of muslin, real thin fabric, and I actually ripped the fabric so that the suede side of the leather would show through. I just thought that was a worn and unique look to go with this worn cover. So the cover, you can tell on the back that it's kind of a corduroy feel to it, but it's so old that it is just kind of worn and has lost that texture. And on the front is almost smooth. You can see that the letters, the corner decorations, everything has pretty well faded on this because it is so old. And again, as I will probably state over and over, to me that's the beauty of these. These are old. Most of these on the I keep calling them cabinet cards, but I have been informed that that's not the correct term. They're actually, I guess, called photo album pages. So I've been kind of calling them matte / photo album matte pages, frame pages, because to me that's what they look like. They look like kind of a photo mat that you would put, you know, the photos into the books with. Which I've stuffed the journals with several of those, and the kits, I believe each kit has 10 of them, just randomly from all the different photo albums where I've just combined them. But yeah, the whole purpose of these is for you to go in and add your own personality in these. But I did try really hard to use a lot of my, you know, original kind of what I call odd different stuff. So I kind of went with that, and I used metal here on the front of album with these beads that have a pearl style top to them. And I did have to drill holes into the cover to attach those. And then on the back I used some kind of a pewtery looking metal just to kind of coordinate with the back clasp. So that is how the outside of this one looks. Again, it has the hollow spine, and I did the leather straps coming across the spine, just more for decoration than for purpose. When you open her up, oh, and I was saying, I got sidetracked, I'm sorry. So these photo albums, most of them, the photo matte frame pages, most of them had writing on them. Many of them, maybe I should say many of them, had writing on them and had dates of the 1800s. I think the one that I did most of my little tutorial on had 1884 in it. But yeah, that's kind of the only way I knew of how to date these, was just by the dates that were written on the pages inside of the photo albums. This one you can see has a name, and I left that very original and authentic because why would you not? It's just absolutely beautiful. If you want to go back and add fabric or paper over that, you can. You would just want to kind of cut it to size and attach it over that. The back cover, same thing. I left it very original to the book. And then I use these buttons here to attach the other side of the leather straps. I wrapped this signature with a beautiful piece of vintage fabric with this beautiful pattern on it. These are really cool, some type of car tag sticker, and they came in envelopes. Most of these I did include the envelopes in the journals as well, so hopefully we'll stumble across that if it's in this one. We'll probably stumble across that in a moment. I can't remember if the envelope is in this one, but they are in the kit, so I will show you what that looks like. I used ledger paper from the 1800s. I tried to put kind of an equal amount of ledger papers that have writing on them in each of the journals, and several of them you will see the years written in them. This has October and May, the dates, but I don't see the year on this particular page, but you will see the year on most of these. On these, I do hinge my pages with, like I hinged this one in. So that's why it's very hard to give you an accurate page count on these, because I hinge in extra pages. And then throughout the journals, if a page is overly fragile, which a lot of these are, they're made from old papers. Some are handmade papers, not by me, it's some I purchased. And then, of course, like I said, the ledger papers. But any pages that were very fragile, I did hinge down the center with some fabric to help the integrity of the paper over time. I mentioned in other videos that, so you can see the fabric where I've hinged the middle of that paper. But again, if ever a page starts to tear, to me that's just part of the personality. Let it tear, reattach it with some more fabric, or glue it to a separate page. Just work with it. To me, that's just the beauty of these junk journals. And I'm just going to randomly flip. So this is the only one out of all of them that has 5 signatures. All of the others have 3. I hung a bell out of the center of this first signature from the hanging to the bottom, and then from the top is one of the zipper pulls, and it's just a piece of metal. You can pull some ribbon through that and actually have some, you know, dangling off of it. I think I've done that on one of the other journals. I'll show that to you as we go. This is straw paper that I got from Rachel with Roxy Creations, and yeah, so I've hinged with fabric tape on this one, that page in. Some beautiful trim coming down that page. There's so many opportunities to add more of your own trim. Here's one of the photo mat pages from inside of one of the photo albums, and I just kind of hinged that on. You guys, I made myself one of these journals, and I will show it one day, but I'm nowhere near completion on it. But it's beautiful to get some acetate and put something in between acetate. I did one beautiful book plate in between it. It was vintage, and it was in one of the photo albums, I believe. But I put some of that in some acetate and put it on one of my photo mat pages. I did a feather. I think I did a feather in acetate on one of mine. I'm trying to remember because I've done so many now. I think I've made, oh, I don't know how many of these. It's been a lot. I think 13 total. This is a fabric pouch kind of thing. So I just kind of folded it into the journal. Let's see if I can even, oh, here's the opening. No, where's the opening? It may not even be cut open all the way across. When I opened, yeah, it is. When I opened this, I wasn't sure if I opened it all the way across, but it's hand stitched on the side. More of the paper. And as I was saying, this is the only one that has 5 signatures. I believe every signature has somewhere between 10 and 12 pages incorporated in the signature. I put one of these in most of the journals where the green looked appropriate in my eye. But these are good to use as like a press board for putting behind a page to write on. So I've slid those in. You can see the fabric in between the signatures right there. And we're going into the second signature. This cabinet card, not cabinet card, photo mat page is actually still hinged. You can see just how brittle this is. On a lot of these I went in and added glue, but I wanted to also encourage you, as these do come apart, which they will, they're old, if and when they do, take these little pieces and just randomly glue them somewhere in your journal. It is part of the original journal, so just go with it. It's so fun. Here's the envelope to that sticker, and I've used a rusty paper clip there. And I can see now I have got to move faster. This is a big chunky one here, so I'm going to move faster. The pages, you just will see, you know, again, opportunities to add trim and page tabs or whatever makes the journal unique to you and your style. Go in and add it. I'm not a journaler. I love to do like mixed media and things in my journals, but I've actually been journaling in my photo album journal. I look forward to showing it one day. This is the only one where I actually added a bag, and I had to do complete surgery on this bag to make it fit the size. I did put one of the wooden rulers on the edge of the bag there, and I lined the inside of it with fabric and opened the top like that. And I just left some of the grungy fabric hanging over the top. I hinged a bag here and one of the book page ruffles there. That's the back side of the bag. And again, I hinged that bag on. If I remember correctly, I think I took a piece of the paper that was sewn into the journal and folded it down on itself and hinged the bag onto it, I believe. I think that's how I did that one. Here's a feather, just kind of stitched into some plastic, clear plastic there, and hinged on to this card, which the card is then attached to this very thin paper. It is open on the top if you want to slide a little secret note in there or something, a bookmark, anything like that. It would have to be thin because that is very thin paper. Another one of the little picture frames is hinged on there with some fabric. And then here's the other side of the bag, and it's also lined with fabric and stitched down the sides, and I put some tape up here just to make it extra stable on the part where you're, you know, pulling it apart. I did back stitch also. Beautiful lace, the ledger paper. Oh, this one is not hinged in. I had intended on doing this on camera, and I held out the fabric to do it with. Hold on, I've got it right here. It's now buried, and I am taking so much longer than I had anticipated. So yeah, the fabric I wanted to do this page with is it's one of the ones I've already used in the journal. It's kind of a blue with this beautiful trim on it, and I will go through after the video. I'm taking too long, and I've got so many still left to do, but I was just going to show how I hinged that on, but we're running out of time, so let's just move on. There's plenty of videos out there where you can watch and see how you hinge a page on inside of a journal, but I will go back and hinge that later. It is almost complete, so we will move forward. This is one of the pinafore cards, and I flipped it onto this page. And if memory serves, okay, so when it flips up, it'll be like that. There was something I was going to do on camera with this, and I can't remember what now. Okay, some fabric tape there, hinged on with this old fabric out of an old coin purse. Very cool. And with the pinafore card. And I do put the pinafore cards as well as these little envelopes that have the wire for the closure in the kits, if you're interested in a kit. So that completes the flip through of this. Let me put my little fabric in here that I am going to use to hinge those two pages, and I'll go back and do that in a moment. And we're going to move to Aztec now, and I named this one Aztec because to me that is a very Aztec-y cover. And I do also want to mention it's not just with Aztec, but in the next video I will also be doing a flip through of this one, which I've titled Bells. But I've used the ostrich eggshell beads on several of these, and I also want to point out these are so cool and amazing. They're really neat. If you research them, I love them. But I do want to point out that they are made out of actual ostrich eggshells, so they can be brittle. I think with age, they lasted for years. They're very old, but they will become brittle. Again, they're misshapen. That's just part of the beauty of it to me. I like that. I'm trying to remember. There's one of them where it's an obvious misshaping of the way the beads were done. I love it. As that happens, embrace it. Oh, I think it's on mine, so I'll show that on another time. Anyway, embrace it. I actually love that, but I do want to point out that these are fragile. They're eggshells, ostrich eggshells, so they're pretty durable actually. But this is Aztec. Aztec on the front has this really, really cool design. I'm guessing this is leather. There is wood inside of it. I would know. Leather strips coming across the spine. I've done layering of laces and lace trim coming down the back side, and this is the back. You can see all of the grunginess, the age of this. Again, I embrace that. And then very quickly, I'm just going to kind of flip through Aztec. Aztec is back to 3 signatures. Let me hold the ruler up so you can do kind of a comparison on size. This is important because I am really encouraging anyone on Etsy to come over and watch the video before they purchase anything like this, because it is made with so much authentic stuff that it has imperfections that are intentional and beautiful. The buttons, I used vintage buttons on the inside. The fabric there was no writing on the inside cover of this one or on the back cover, but you can see that pretty aged paper and vintage buttons there on the back cover. Chipboard in the middle to build out the spine. Most of these were missing their spines. And that's 3 signatures. Most of the signatures have somewhere between 10 to 12 pages. We have the grunged up wooden ruler, the ledger paper that has 1882 on that. Oh, I love this. Okay, so this feather I've layered on with some like real thin paper and tape and aged looking tape. And then in this one I used a lot of the old black photo paper. That is glue that was on the paper already. And these little photo corners are just, they're fragile and old. I love them. So yeah, this to me, I just love how authentic this stuff is. It just is beautiful. These matrimonial registration, I believe, is what that would be transferred to or translated to. So yeah, it's the same types of pages in this one. In the center of this first signature is a zipper pull coming out of the bottom. I'm trying to remember, the top was one of the little rusty metal pieces. They'll also be in the kits for anyone interested in a kit. And then, yeah, this is where I hinged that mat on. I did try to leave the strings in the other signatures in case you want to add items of your own to them. My glue has not dried. Oh, let me get that off. A little boo-boo right there, which again, part of it. I'll probably go back and put a little piece of tape over that. In fact, if I don't do it now, I'm scared I will forget. I want to use some of my, sorry for shaking the camera, I'm going to use some of this tape because I want it to show. I want it to look, I want people to be able to see it. To me, that's just all part of it. And my glue is buried. Let's see if I can get to it. I would really like to do this before I finish the video so that I do not forget. But at the same time, I know we've got to hurry. If you're wanting to go ahead and fast forward to one of the others, or the other one that I'm going to do on the video, again, I'm going to put the timestamps in the, so I'm just going to cover that up. I'm not really so much worried about that little piece of paper that was showing, but I couldn't remember which glue I used on this paper ruffle. And just in case it was a shiny glue, art glitter glue does not dry shiny, but in case that was a shiny glue, I didn't want the glue to show. And the lighting's not great in here right now, so kind of weird about that. Here's one of the pinafore cards. That's the back of it. The envelope that has the wire closure. This one has a lady on it. And then, just so you know, I like to actually clip that up a little bit higher so that this is peeking out the top of the journal. And you can see it. This is just some more of the old grungy tape. And I actually attached some of the paper on top of the tape just for interest. This I just hinged on. I folded down one of the pages in the journal and added this piece of trim just because I wanted to. I don't know, it just felt pulled to do that. And then in most of these I have included all different types of little charms and pins and whatnot. I don't think I did a lot of those in album because I wanted album to have kind of a, not a masculine style, but more of a just a office paper style. Not so much frilly lace poking out. But on this one I did do a lot of the crocheted pieces and trims and laces, so I put some of the pretty little embellishments in it. Some of these actually still have the pins on them, but I'm kind of weird if a pin is not wanting to close good, if it's wanting to either overhang the little clasp or anything like that. Sometimes I'll pop the pin off and actually stitch them down, and then sometimes I'll just actually run tape across it. So some of these pins, I guess my point today is some of the pins might not actually still have the pins on them. And I do that just so that you don't get, you know, stuck. accidentally poked with one. If I see it's one that's not wanting to hold its clasp or it's overhanging its clasp. There's the other side of that crochet doily, a bunch of string right there. The vintage lace, I hinged that on with that beautiful fabric. This is a pretty bow. You can see it's kind of a burlappy bow. And then poking out there, you can see that there is a numbered index card. And then I have slid a pretty little, it's kind of a messed up, I didn't do this, it came in something I got, and it's just kind of a blurred out print of something. I think it's like heather or wheat maybe. On this one, it has this cluster here of this tulle with all these little rhinestoney things, and this pretty cameo. And then I hinged that card on to this page. The ledger paper, more paper, the straw paper with this pretty trim. And there's the strings from that signature. And then the cabinet card there. Ledger. You can see on that the weight of the cabinet card was weighing heavy on that piece of paper here, because it was just, you know, like a thin coffee dyed piece of paper. So what I did is I went in and layered different papers on top of it to give it extra stability and strength, so that the paper wasn't so weighted over. So you can see kind of the layering there of the pages. Alright, so this pretty much completes the flip through. I was trying to see if that one had a date, a year. I don't see a year on that one. So this completes the flip through of Aztec, and I'm going to move that one to the side. Let's roll right on into the next one. This one I titled Shell, and it's because I used this shell that has these little gold accents. I'm starting to lose my lighting here. The sun is setting, and so I'm going to try to hurry because I still wanted to do one more video. So on the outside of shell, you can see that I attached these little embellishments. So it's a shell and a little clear bead and a little seed bead. And then I did pearl beads here, and the little piece of the grungy metal hanging out of the bottom of the signature of the first one. And then one of the zipper pulls with the zipper part still attached to it. I love that, hanging out from the top. And then I just love, love, love this vintage lace. I think I used this on the journal that I did in the quote-unquote tutorial video. And then I think this was the last of what I had left. And then I used these pretty clear buttons on the back and just layered it with all of this you know, cottons and creams and, you know, coffee stained materials. But this is so pretty. It's vintage and it's just beautiful. I love that. And then when you open this up, I did put a paper inside of here, and I cannot remember why, but whatever the reason was, it was a good reason. I'm thinking that this was one of the ones that was missing the inside paper, and you could actually see the wood under it. And maybe it was just on the back cover, but I still knew I had to cover those. It was not a pretty situation that could be utilized in that. So I did cover it with this pretty paper here. And then the pages again are very similar. This does have, this is beeswax. You can see where the beeswax is kind of bled through. I love doing that. I used it on a piece in here, and then you let the wax just kind of bleed through. Sometimes you can hold a little heat up to it to help pull it out too. A wooden grungy ruler. Here's where I just put this fabric with this grunged up cardboard. The paper ribbon on this old music paper. This is some grunged up paper that's been hinged on there. Here is a matte card from one of the original journals, and I have punched this little metal plate through that, and so I put a piece of the tape across the back from the little metal tabs that are poking out there. And I did include a random piece of the metal nameplates in the 3 kits. So as I show those kits, hopefully in the next video, you'll be able to get an idea for that. This beautiful fabric here, I went in and added a piece of this trim, a piece of the crochet dolly. It's just all papers. Here's one of the press boards with the little metal rivets in it. The straw paper. This is such a pretty little pen. It's a bow tie or a bow. And I've just attached it there on the bottom so that it peeks out when the journal is closed, just for some visual interest. Here's the pinafore card. One of these I did, if you watched the earlier part of the video, I did one of these with the intentions of doing something on video, and I can't remember now what it was. I don't know. Yeah, I attached a card there. I left most of these open on the top so that you can slide something in there. Here's a pretty white feather with a flip, and that's some of that original black paper there. There's the, my strings from that's caught in. And there's one of the card tag stickers there. Another photo mat, but if you'll look, this paper is pulling away again. I love that. Eventually, you can either glue it or eventually pull it on off and attach it to the corner of a page as you write or journal inside of it. Beautiful trim there. And then I did another one of the clusters in this one. Some of you may be just fast forwarding to the flip through and you may not have watched earlier in the video, but I showed this on Aztec, had that cluster in there. And I also talk about these pins, the way some of them are, I've removed the pins on them, and I think this one still has the pin. Yeah, I can still feel the pin in there. Okay, and these are all pages. I fold them in so that you have an opportunity to use tabs. Okay, this pretty much completes this flip through. I love that paper. Look, how cool is that? Love it. That's handmade paper with lines. Not by me, I bought it. Okay, and there's the back side of that lace. And so that completes the flip through of Shell. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this video, and I will start filming the next video with the other 2 photo albums in them. I think what I'm going to do first is get this video uploading and processed. Since I do film with my phone, I'm probably just going to go ahead and get this video going and upload it to my YouTube so that people who have been asking on the Etsy about these can have a way of seeing these. And then I will probably do this next video. I'll go ahead and film it, but I probably won't upload it and process it until tomorrow morning. So tomorrow is Wednesday and it's Tuesday evening right now, but here's just kind of a quick peek at the 2 that will be on the next video. So this one is Bells and this one is Ring, and I called it Ring because I attached the ring that had been the back closure onto it like this, since it was missing, and it, so many of these were missing their closure, so I try to utilize what I could in the ways that I could. But yeah, this one, it wouldn't have closed. The little nub there just wasn't catching, so I chose to do that. And yeah, so I'll do the video on these, and I'll post this video tomorrow. Also in that video, just to give you a little sneak peek, I'm going to try to get all my kits posted. I've already posted, I think, 1. But so the kits are going to come with so much, and I'll go through those in the next video. But they're going to come with an actual photo album cover, a grunged up piece of ruler to attach to the page, some of the pinafore cards. But I will do, it'll come with a bunch of the photo mat cards, all kind of little accessories. These, I was told, came off of hotel room doors, or doorway beside the doors, you know, like on the wall, and sometimes when they post the hotel room numbers. So I'm trying to put all kind of unique items. Excuse me, I gotta pick this up. I dropped the little metal plate there. So I'm trying to put really unique items in these kits so that you can build your own journal. If you're not interested in buying one that someone else has made, you can make your own. There's still other stuff over here in the box. There's a bell, a cameo, and stuff. Some of the clear buttons, but I'll get into all this on my next video. Let me go ahead and finish this I'm not going to go through too much on my Etsy on describing every single item because I only have 3 of the kits, and I'm just going to encourage people to come over here and watch the video that I will be posting.